Welcome to Unshakable with Human Design, the show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs use human design to shift from hustle to flow without sacrificing results. Come here to become an unshakable human and build an unshakable business according to your human design. I'm your host, Nicole. Hey everybody, it's Nicole. Welcome to Unshakable with Human Design. It's just you and me today. I wanted to talk with you about being stuck in a rut. Now, we all get into ruts. We all get into moments of feeling like we hit a plateau. Sometimes it comes after we're growing and growing and growing, and then we feel like we stop. And that will particularly happen with generators, manifesting generators. We absolutely hit these plateaus, particularly manifesting generators, because we tend to move fast. And then we hit a bit of a roadblock, and it can feel like the entire world stops when this happens. And we get frustrated. But this can happen personally or professionally, and it can happen to any of the types, and it can happen for a variety of reasons. You might feel like you are stuck at a revenue plateau. You might feel like you're just not growing as a person. You might feel stuck in your relationship. Any of these things, if you are stuck at a plateau, then I'm going to give you a simple process for identifying the reason. And this is something that I do. This is something that my team and I just went through. And it doesn't have to be where you feel awful. I don't want you to feel like you have to feel like the world is crumbling. This is a really great exercise to do every month. What we ultimately want this to be is part of who you are. And that's what human design can start to help us do, because it's giving us a new way to approach the way that we take action. So we're no longer doing it blindly. We're doing it with intention and purpose. And if anything human design teaches you to do, it's to take the power away from that automatic process that we have, the automatic yes and the automatic no's that we have to things, because it's teaching us to say, before I do anything, I'm going to check in to see where is this coming from. I'm going to pay attention to different things on how they're coming into my world. I'm going to make decisions differently, and I'm always going to be tuning in. So we're taking that off our autopilot of how we are automatically making decisions. We're taking the power away from the programming, right? And we're taking the power away from the mind. So this episode very much stays in alignment with that. I'm just going to give you a different process for it, just a different way of looking at this and how you can use your human design to make this even more powerful. So the process that I want to give you for if you are hitting a plateau, if you feel stuck in a rut, personally, professionally, with your revenue, anything, the process that I want you to go through and the new program I want you to install when this happens is not to despair, not to feel like you need to change everything, not to go into reactionary mode, but instead ask yourself, what am I believing right now that is causing me to be in this place? And by examining your beliefs, what I really mean by this is I want you to look at what's happening and what are the things that you're saying, it has to be this way. It has to go this way. What are some of the habits that you have developed? Now, this could be because something has worked for a really long time. And what that has done is created a rule in your mind that it works, so this is how it is. This is what has to be here. This is what I have to sell. This is who I have to be. This is the program. This is the way that I show up, because it works. And things work for a time. Some things may work forever in some instance, but there will always be tweaking. There will always be adapting to the new landscape. And like they say, new level, new devil. What worked to get you here very well may not work to get you there, wherever there is that you are looking to go. So human design can help with this, of course, but just from a purely beliefs examination process, ask yourself, what is it that I think needs to be, or how am I acting or taking action in alignment with something that feels very fixed? So it might be that you feel like there's a program that you must keep running. It might be a way that you need to show up online. It might be a tactic that you're using. Maybe it's being on Instagram. Maybe it's having a podcast. Maybe it's that you feel like you couldn't have a podcast. What are the things that in your mind you're automatically saying, yes, it has to be this way, or no, it can't be that way? That's not successful. It can't be like that. And we see this happen, particularly I'm speaking to the personal development, service-based coaching industry. So if you fall into the service-based entrepreneurs, if you fall into the category of being a coach or a healer or an energy healer of some kind, where you're selling your services and you're selling your wisdom, if you fall into any of those categories, this can apply to anything. But this very part that I'm talking about right now, where I'm talking about the industry, can be very stuck in low ticket programs don't work, or low ticket programs are what everybody needs to do right now. Everything is spoken in such absolutes. Which ones have you bought into? Either because they've worked for you before or because someone told you that was how it had to be. Always be challenging these things. But if you feel like you get stuck, more often than not, it will be some way that you are thinking it has to be or it cannot be. Where are you falling into that? What's falling into either one of those categories? And then take a real long look at them and say, is that ultimately true? Now, how you work human design into this is human design is showing us how we create new patterns through strategy and authority. It's telling us this comes to me through response. This comes to me through an invitation, depending on what our type is. Manifestors, I'm going to have this great download of where I want to go, this vision. All of these different ways that the universe is speaking to us. And then we have our authority that's telling us, yes, it's right for us, or no, it's not. Following that process can feel a little clunky in the beginning because it can feel very slow because we're used to just reacting to things. They said it was this way. I was told it had to be like this, so I'm just going to go do that. I signed up for this program and this is what they're teaching me, so I'm going to go do that, right? And human design says, whoa, whoa, whoa. Might work for them. Does it work for you? So it's getting us in the moment to say, okay, this came to me. Is it right? This came to me. Is it right? This opportunity is here. Is this truly correct for me or not? And it's giving you a mechanism to use. Your signature is going to show you if something is off or if it's right for you. So your signature or your not self theme. So if you're a generator, if you're feeling frustrated, that's a big old signal that maybe you're at a plateau. Maybe you feel stuck. If you feel frustrated, then that is stuck for generators. If you're feeling bitter or like you're not being recognized as a projector, then that's a cue for you right now to do this work of examining, what am I believing? How am I attached to something? Yes or no, by saying it has to be or it cannot be. How am I so attached to something that it's holding me where I am? It becomes the roadblock. This is how we become the roadblock. So if you start to question this stuff, you can start to see a different path. And then you see what comes to you through your strategy and authority. Now that you are not blocked in your own mind as to what you're paying attention to, you might have been getting pinged the entire time, but you had such blinders on with this belief that you had that it cannot be this way or it has to be this way, that you missed all the times that the universe was putting something in front of you. So start noticing, start shifting, start being more like water in your mind rather than like cement. We want to be more fluid, more open, and more receptive to the ideas that can come. That does not mean taking action on all of them. It means being open to them and then seeing what synchronicities come to you now that you've made this shift, now that you've opened yourself up to a new possibility. And this is what deconditioning is. Deconditioning is saying it doesn't have to be this way. And human design is helping us break that apart in all these different, very specific ways. That's why it's easy to follow, is once you start living by it, you start seeing where those not self themes start popping up. But this is just a really clean, easy exercise to go through when you feel stuck. Particularly, now I'm going to say this, if you have an open head or ajna, if your head or your ajna center on your human design chart are white, then you are going to be more susceptible to the outside world's ideas. So you're going to want to examine these. It will be easier for you to shift because you're not attached to them as much. You're just in a habit. So you break that habit. If you have a defined head or a defined ajna, this might take you longer. You might find this to be a more challenging exercise than anyone because you are a bit fixed. Once an idea gets in there, once it becomes your way of thinking, it can become like cement. It can really be in there because you have a fixed way of seeing things. But start that process of opening up. New possibility. It doesn't have to be this way. It never has to be anything. If it isn't working, there's room, there's always a possibility. What in my way of thinking is holding me back? So I hope you found this helpful. I hope that this episode spoke to you. If you are interested in diving into your human design more, we have a really wonderful profiles masterclass. It's all about finding your X factor. So this goes really well with this because it's helping you tune into who you are, what your essence is. How are you meant to put your voice out? What is your unique voice? And how do you put it out in the world? And how do you attract the right people to you? All of that can be done through your profile. The profile is one of the 3 key factors in human design. We talked about strategy and authority, so your type and your authority in this episode. Profile is the other piece that we get into lots of other episodes. But please DM me the word profiles on Instagram. I'm at Nicole Lano Official. DM me the word profiles and there will be a bot that automatically sends you the link. So that's the easiest way. Just pick up your phone right now, put in profiles, DM me that word and only that word. And then that will trigger the autoresponder to send it to you. Or you can go to the show notes and go to the link there in the show notes if you want to just shoot over there yourself in your browser. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope that you used this tip. Please let us know how you loved it. Subscribe to the show. And remember, in order to have an unshakable business, you must first become an unshakable human. So thanks for letting us be part of your journey in becoming unshakable by human design, everyone. We'll see you in the next one. If you loved this episode and you're a fan of the show, please show us the love on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to the show and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with other entrepreneurs on their human design journey, join our free Facebook community, Human Design for Entrepreneurs. Go to nicolelano.me/podcast links to join the group, book a human design reading with me, or access our free human design resources. We'll see you there.